Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Bill Janeshak on the Conquering Stress podcast. Oh, this is a wonderful time. Little hinges swing big doors. I just got off doing a couple other podcasts as a guest. I was not cheating on you. And the same questions seemed to be coming up. And I said, well, seems like everybody's interested in this because maybe it's at the time of this recording, it's springtime. And spring is a time of rebirth, rejuvenation, and then other than New Year's resolution time, this is when people start thinking a little bit more about, all right, well, we just came out of winter and maybe we've been hunkered down, put on a couple pounds. We weren't as active. The sun's out now, and maybe we've been slowing down. And sometimes I'll see this a lot in practice and just a lot of time when I'm consulting other ways is it seems so daunting now. It's like, oh gosh, ever since football season ended, I just kind of sat around. I haven't done anything. And it seems so big. So it always starts out with small things. And this can, again, little hinges will swing big doors. That means that we're using a lot of leverage. You can do, if you have the right inputs, the outputs can be 10x easy. So what that means is that if you do the little habits, and I'm going to talk about this again in the context of your health or transformation, but you can take the same steps and principles and you can apply them to your relationships and finances and whatever else you want to do. The first thing is to get the basics down. And if you've been following this, which I hope you have for some time, the non-negotiable things of the human physiology and body, or the foundations of the health, or my buddy Glenn Depke calls them the fundamentals of health, but they're always the same. It's, are you breathing? Are you getting enough oxygen in your body? Are you drinking enough water? Your body is 80% oxygen or water. We need to get that in. Are we eating real food? That's things that have been grown or have walked around and then we've stopped them and we've shoved them in our pie holes, and they have all the nutrients that God intended us for us to have and use them up. Are we getting enough sleep in this time of stress, conquering stress and everything else going on? And partying and relentlessness. I'll sleep when I die. I can do this. Sleep is so very important to revitalize and increase your energy and utilize all that good food and oxygen and water that you're putting into your systems to grow you. We've got to get out in the sun. The sun is the ultimate place of energy. It feeds the plants that feed the food that we eat, that feeds us, to keep us going. Very important to get out in the sun and get some of those good vibe rays on you. And I'm a movement guy. I'm a chiropractor. We are fitness people and everything else. So we got to get out and move in various directions and various intensities. And not all movement is exercise, but all exercise is movement. So move everything, move your lungs, get your heart moving, move your limbs, and just start getting around. It's a requirement of the body. And we've got to eliminate the waste products. That means we have to do a lot of poo-poo and pee-pee, and sweating helps with that. These are non-negotiables, but they're all little things. There's one more caveat that I added on personally. So keep that in mind, but it's stress management. Thus the term Conquering Stress podcast is because stress is always with us. That means that we always have challenges, and we've got to be able to be resilient enough to know that it's coming and dodge the bad, evil arrows that are flung at us every day. These are non-negotiable things. So this is just your fundamentals, and this is something that we should be doing all the time anyways, but this is the starting point. Once you have those down and trying to figure out how to do your transformation, let's start with the little things. And if you take literally the couple minutes to kind of hunker down on these little things, you will have big results. And the first thing that you want to do is define clearly, what are we doing? What exactly are we doing? I want to lose some weight. I want to get stronger. I want to have more energy. I don't really know what that means. So when I have a patient come in and they say, "Well, I don't want to be in pain." I say, "Okay, so you don't ever want to have pain, so you never know if your hand's in the fire." Well, no, 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 no. I said, "Well, let's dial this down and get really good definition." So let's say I want to drop 15 pounds. I said, "Okay, 15 pounds of fat. Do you want to cut it off an arm? Do you want lighter clothes? What is it?" "Oh, no, 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 no. I want less fat. I want a harder body." Okay, so now we're dialing in a little bit more, and it sounds kind of like I'm being a kind of a dick, but and maybe it is. But the other thing is getting people to dial in exactly what they want, because sometimes you'll say something and you'll mean something else, but it's similar and you kind of yada. Well, it's just this. No, let's dial in specifically. I want to drop 15 pounds of fat so that I have my body looks ripped and yoked, and because of that, I'm going to have good energy and I'm going to look good in my bikini or my speedos or naked on the beach or whatever it is. But really define what it is and get a good clear picture in your head about what we're trying to achieve. And like I said, it sounds like a lot of details, but literally, if you just start writing out and define, well, this is what I really mean, and this is what I want to do, and I want to fit into that dress on this day. I want to make sure that my butt looks good when I'm walking away, when I'm going to Stagecoach or Coachella or whatever else you're doing. Get really defined on what you're doing. Then the important thing is going why. Why do you want to drop 15 pounds of fat on there? Well, because I know it, and everybody, because I'm a doctor, everybody says, "Well, I want to be healthier." Okay, well, I don't know what health means, because no one's really defined health. Well, I want to have more energy and I want to be stronger. Okay, why do you want to do that? Well, so I can be up and alive. So I want clearer mental. Oh, that's really good. And I want to look good. And if you ask yourself why a few times, you'll actually get down to the key aspects. Is that I want to feel more alive. I want more from life. I want to be able to meander through life and whatever it is. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth or presuppose something for you. But if you ask why a few times, you'll come down to some core reasons. And it's not even about, it doesn't have to change anything and there's no judgment for it, but it's just making clear in your mind. And then if you go back over and you go, okay, well, here's the foundations to make me a living, healthy human being, and here's what I want, and then here's why I want it. And then just ask yourself, well, who do I have to become? If you had to create the kind of person that you would know, and if you go, well, I don't know. Well, okay, if you did know by just observing other people that you might have, modeled some of these behaviors after, what do you think that they would do? What kind of habits or actions or things like that or attitudes would they have that would allow them to have dropped this 15 pounds, or made the world's biggest pizza, or conquered the world, or got out of bed that day? Whatever it is you're modeling, what do you think that person would have to be like, and kind of keep those in mind. And then ask yourself, really, when is this going to happen? So when do we want this outcome? And if it's 15 pounds and you're going, okay, well, in 6 weeks or 2 months or 3 days, be realistic, but I want this to happen. So that's the end product of what we're doing. And then when do we want to start? So now you know You're taking care of with your foundations of health. You're going, oh, says, here's the flag in the future that we want to get back in. Here's why we're doing it. This is our mission, what we want to do. This is the type of people that we're doing this with, or I'm becoming to do that. And here's the flag, here's the starting line. So now we got everything in aligned. And then we start going back over and get a little deeper. And we don't want to go all crazy with this, but who else is affected or involved in your process? So some people that might be involved with that, if you're doing a healthcare journey, maybe you need, I always say chiropractor first because I'm biased, but maybe you need somebody that's going to help you with your nutrition. Maybe you're going to need a workout coach. Maybe you want an accountability partner, and that could be your spouse or your friend or whatever else you're doing. Kind of think about like, what kind of team would I want to support me? So, there's the old saying that, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's what you want to do. So you're looking at a long-term result on what kind of team. And the coolest thing about this now is you don't really have to have a physical team or somebody that you talk about or you cuddle with or you huddle up with. You can have a team of people that are influencers that you follow. You can online. Oh my God, we have so much stuff and resources online and free. And there's chat groups and there's Facebook pages that will do that. You can find people that are looking for people like you. So it's very simple, but it's important to put this team together so that you're not alone, so that when you're going like, I don't feel like it or I don't want to, you go, oh, well, I got to check into my Facebook group that I joined and I don't want to be the person that said that. So I'm not gonna run 3 miles today, but I'll go out and walk 1 mile. And then you go out to walk 1 mile and you go like, I already made it to one. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to jog the next one. And then I'm just going to turn around. And then you get to the second mile. You go like, I feel pretty good. And you know what? I'm 3/4 there. I'm just going to do it. And by the end of the day, you kept a commitment to yourself and you've done that. And that's because of the community that you have. And like I said, this is whatever you want. And these are the steps that you want to do. We're going to have our foundations of health. We're going to find out what we're trying to achieve, why we're trying to achieve that, who we are becoming in that process, our identity in that process. When it happens, we have a begin and a start date. Who else is affected? And we're bringing in, who else is involved. But who else is affected? So when I work with patients or somebody that's working around this, who else is watching? And a lot of times it's the kids, or it's you're a role model to somebody. And things are caught, they're not really taught. So, it's like do as I say, not as I do. Well, but if you're the doer, and I brought this up on one of the podcasts that I was doing today, is that in some of my talks, I always asked, we're trying to get people to go off and take some action. And rather than just taking, here's what you do, and this is an ology that I've studied, and everybody wants the recipe, but nobody really wants to bake or cook long term, unless you're providing for maybe your kids. And I would always ask, I said, raise your hand if you would die for your kids. And people that have kids that aren't teenagers that are crazy, they'll raise their hand and say, yeah, I would definitely die for my kids because I love them. I want everything to. I said, great. So who would live for their kids? And then it's crickets. They're like, what the hell are you talking about? I said, who's willing to show up every day and do the little things and shop mindfully, eat good foods, go out and make sure that they're seeing you do your foundations of health. You're drinking your Fiji water. There, disappeared. Your Fiji water, or just your water, that you're eating real food, that you're cognizant of the things that you're putting in your pie hole, that, they see you out moving and working in the yard and exercising and talking to the neighbors and getting out and enjoying yourself in this, all the foundations, and they see that every day. They're catching a behavior, they're modeling a behavior because they're growing up in that. So who is affected else by this? And most of the time when I ask that question, they say, well, no one, this is just me. Everybody else is fine. And that is not true. And with all due respect, that is not true, because there is a coworker, and there's a cat on the couch. There's someone else that is watching you. There's someone that you don't know is watching you. They might be watching you at the gym, and they might be there, never talk to you, but they notice you, and I've done that at the gym. I've been working out, and I'll watch somebody in the gym, and I'll never talk to them, but I'll see them all the time. And you do the cool, hey, that I noticed you. But I'll watch somebody, and it was my favorite thing to do. There's been a couple of them people. They'll come over usually at the beginning of the year, and they're overweight, and I'll watch them like, well, at least they're at the gym. This is cool. And then a couple months later, and they're there, and I say, wow, no, they're really shaped. They're getting after it. This is cool. And sometimes I would look at them, and I'd look at my workouts, and people like it. I work out more intensely or something than they do, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? They have a better intensity than I do. I have to up my game, and they just remind me. It's just a mirror. And like I said, never talked to them, never did anything other than the chin up, hey. But who's watching you, and who's affected by that? Because it's a team. When you think of something, people will do more for other people than they will themselves. They'll let themselves down, and you'll lie to yourself. Say, well, I don't feel like getting up in the morning. I'll go do tonight, and then that never happens. That rarely happens, and won't put words in your mouth. But just make a list of the people that are involved, or are affected by you, or could be involved and could be affected by you. That's going to be really important. Now, with that, go in, and you're going to have a community, but create an echo chamber. And that echo chamber is going to be really important for you, because the social media will feed you things. And when they feed you things, they're going to feed you what you want. But if you start asking questions, and you start following people, like I said, those people that you're involved with, start following that. So when you turn on that thing, you're getting the feedback that you want. You're getting that positive feedback loop. It says, I wanted to drop 15 pounds, and here's 3 people telling me how to, oh, that's a good idea. Oh, I need to do more of that. And they're like, it keeps it at top of mind. It keeps your reticular activating system. That's the portion of the brain that tells your brain what's important to you. And you can do that over and over again. You're going to create that echo chamber in those little chat rooms and stuff like that. And I'm not going to tell you to cut off all your friends and everything, but all you're going to do is bring the people that are thinking like you more to your forefront, and it embellishes your goals and dreams that you have. Now, the next thing is going to be the how-to. Again, abundant like that, and whatever your steps are, and however you choose to do it, because there's lots of roads to the end of where you're going. That's going to be perfect. Get your steps in line. Just start putting them in line. That's the how to, and that's usually where people start and stop at. How do I do this without doing all the other stuff? And I guarantee you, if you skip the other part, you're most likely not going to achieve what you initially wanted to. But get those goals, those many steps, those lead indicators. If you want to go back over what lead and lag indicator is, go back. We did another video on that whole thing. Very powerful in these little steps that create bigger steps, create momentum. Now, here's a secret that nobody wants to talk about really much, is make a list of the enemies trying to stop you. So that's not very positive. No, it's not very positive. Who wants you to fail? Who's going to say, I knew you couldn't do that, even if it's well-intended people to do that? Who are those people that want you to fail? And be careful and kind of keep it to yourself. There is the other people say, "Oh, I knew you could never do that," and usually they're not as vocal. Some people might have those in your life, but they're usually people that you hang out with that are close to you that you know enjoy eating Twinkies and bagels and soda and things with you and hanging out. And they don't want you to get better because they don't want to do it. And if they lose you, it makes them feel bad about themselves, or they don't get to hang out like they want to, or whatever it is. But keep in mind, and then there's some other people that may not just like you, and they want to see you fail. It's the well-meaning parent. Well, I just knew you couldn't do that, and you shouldn't have done that. Just you know, go to school, get a job, work there 30 years. And I did that. Your grandpa did it, your great great grandpa, and this is how you do it, and like that. And with all due respect, this is a different time, different life, and like that. And then if you think about a few other people that they'll secretly be happy because you're not growing over them. And I wouldn't share this with anybody, but keep that in the back of your mind. Maybe write some names down. So when you're doing a workout or it's late and you forgot to shop and you don't really want to go to the store, do that, they can pop in your head and you can see them celebrating, you know, you not doing what you're supposed to do and you not getting your outcome and the like. And there's actually studies will show that if you really have a good vision, and you should have a good vision of what you want to be, just like I said, get a clear picture of that. It's not as powerful as going through those hard times when you're thinking about rainbows, unicorns, and sunshine, as it is you're looking back and you're going like, oh, hell no. You are not going to, no, I'm not going to look you in the eye and say that I failed. And I don't want to listen to you saying, I told you so. And I'm like this, I like that. And a little bit of anger. There's gratitude and love are the highest vibration feelings that you can get. They are going to sustain you and they're going to grow you and they're going to that is the fulfillment that you get by being a spiritual human being in a meat suit. And that's what you should be striving for. With that being said, there's times, like I said, stress, challenges, whatever. The most energetic, breaking through walls, running through fire in a gasoline suit, just that get the hell out of my way attitude is fear and anger. It's a powerful thing that you go. If you're in a crowd and someone comes skipping through, singing the world is awesome, and they're going by, they're going to bounce off people. If you get somebody that's scared to death and they're running around there, yeah, people are going to get out of their way. They're going to go, what the hell was that? If you come back and you're angered, you ever been really pissed off and you just walk through a room and the seas part? People don't want to mess with anything with that kind of energy going on there. It's not a sustainable, it's not healthy to be in that all the time. But there's those times it'll push through, because anytime you have a challenge, you're trying to swing big doors, you're going to run into something like that. And it's those times when you just have to say, fuck this. And you engage that meat suit, and you kind of pull out that gladiator and that warrior that's inside, and you push through. And it's those little pushes over there that will keep you focused. And once you're on the other side, you say, oh my God, I did that. And that brings us to the last point, is celebrate. Celebrate the little hinges that swing the big doors, and celebrate them and go, wow, I'm doing this. It's not like I'm going to do this. Sometimes it's, I'm in the middle. I told myself I'm doing this. And then you tell yourself the truth is that, okay, are you perfect? No, you're not perfect. But you know what? I got up and first thing I did, I drank my 16 ounces of water. And I went outside and I got sunlight on my face and my eyes, and that was good. And I did this. And you know what? I didn't poop today. And okay, wow, well, don't regret. Guarantee you the poop is coming. But as you start going on, celebrate that and say, you know what? 2 weeks ago, I didn't do anything of that. Like I just kind of rolled out of bed and did this, and then I'm doing this and doing this, and start calculating these little steps, these little hinges. And you're like, and because I did all these little things, tell yourself the truth. We are so good at telling ourselves how bad we are. Oh, I didn't do this again. I didn't work out as hard. I didn't do this. And like, oh, I bought the regular beef instead of the grass-fed, grass-finished stuff. What a loser. I'm not, they're going to take my super hippie badge away from me and, toil me. Celebrate the good things that you've done and tell yourself the truth. And I can do better. And I've done this. So I'm making micro changes every day. And that's going to feed the journey that you have. And then it's no longer a wish because you're clear on things. You know what to do. You're doing it all the time. But don't make it like, oh gosh, I have to work out 16 times a day and I got to work, or I got to run 23 hours a day and I got to do this marathon. I've got to do that. Stop. Start with the little things. Start building the momentum. Get to the end of whatever goal or achievement that you wanted to do, stop and celebrate even bigger, and then re-engage yourself and say, wow, I'm really become the person that does X, Y, and Z, can achieve this. Take some time out, and then very soon, you don't have to do that in that minute, but very soon, set the next intention. Said, well, if I started working out like that, I bet I could walk a 5K. I'll be like one of those people that gets a number on my chest, and I walk. I'm not going to try to win it, but I'll grab some of my homies that I grab over here that are on the journey with me, and we can walk through this. Yeah, that's awesome, and that's your next thing. And pretty soon you're that person that you emulated, and you just challenge that journey. But take it easy, and while you don't want to let yourself off the hook, don't think you have to do everything all at once. Do the little things. It'll build momentum. It'll change who you are, and then you can do anything that you want to at that point on it. But if things look too big, people won't start. If the mountain looks too high, you're like, oh God, I'm never going to make it. But if you got a little hill to climb, you can start the momentum. And then once you get there, you can say, that wasn't as bad as I, and most things, when you start them, they're not as bad as you anticipated. They're always bigger in your head than they are in real life. So this is just a couple things that you can do to build that momentum. These are just the little hinges that can swing big doors and get you to your goals where you are. So if this is spring and just starting, there is no reason why you can't get whatever summer body that you want and start looking for to be in everything that you want to be for the summer. And don't stop in the summer. Once you're there, you've earned it. Price paid, you're good. So if you know anybody that's going through or thinking about, I need to change something, share this with them. And these little steps, they're simple, they're easy, they're not big time commitments, not a big energy, but when you put them all together, pretty powerful. So this is Dr. Bill Janeshak on the Conquering Stress podcast. Click like, subscribe, do all that cool things that all the influencers tell you to do, because I'd like that too. And until next time, we'll peace out.